Oh no, here we are, up in this old barn loft where I used to come as a boy. You see, this place has always been special to me. The wood still smells the same after all these years. That's cedar mixed with hay and thyme, if thyme had a smell. I brought a cushion to sit on because these old bones don't bend like they used to. I hope you don't mind the quiet up here. Sometimes quiet is exactly what a person needs. Outside, the sun is starting to set through those slats in the wall. Makes these stripes of light across the floor. When I was young, I'd watch the dust float through those light beams. Seemed like magic then. Still does, I suppose. My grandfather built this barn in 1947. That was right after he came back from the war. And he needed something to do with his hands. Something to build instead of what he'd been doing. Never talked much about the war, my grandfather. But he talked plenty about this barn. Every beam, every nail had a story. He'd bring me up here on summer evenings when the work was done. We'd sit right about where I'm sitting now. He'd tell me about the different types of wood he used. Oak for the frame because it's strong, you see. Pine for the walls because it was cheaper when we had a lot of pine trees on the property. That cedar smell I mentioned, that's from the chest over in the corner. Grandmother's old hope chest that nobody wanted in the house anymore. So it lives up here now, full of quilts and baby clothes and letters. I opened it once, maybe 20 years ago. Found a letter my grandfather wrote to my grandmother during the war. It was something. He wrote about wanting to come home and build her a house with a big kitchen and windows facing east for the morning light. They got that house eventually just down the hill from this barn. It's still standing, though someone else lives there now. Anyway, I didn't mean to start with sad things. That's not why we're here. We're here because falling asleep is one of the best feelings there is. And sometimes the best way to fall asleep is to let your mind wander a little. Don't worry about tomorrow or yesterday. We'll just be here now, in this old barn loft with the light coming through and the smell of cedar. You know what I was thinking about earlier today? Bird nests. Well, seems like an odd thing to think about, but I saw one in the eaves when I climbed up here. Must be swallows. They come back every year to the same spot. How do they remember? How do they find their way back? Scientists say it's magnetic fields or star navigation or some such thing. But I think maybe they just remember the feeling of home. That's something, isn't it? The feeling of home. This barn has that feeling for me. Well, even though I haven't lived on this property for 40 years, even though it belongs to the Hendersons now, and they mostly use it for storage, they're good people, the Hendersons. Let me come up here whenever I want. Mrs. Henderson sometimes brings me lemonade in the summer. Says she likes knowing someone appreciates the old place. Her kids don't care much about it, too busy with their phones and computers. That's all right, every generation has their own things. And when I was young, my grandfather probably thought I spent too much time listening to the radio. He grew up without electricity, you see. Had to read by candlelight and wake up when the rooster crowed. No alarm clocks, no light switches, just the rhythm of the sun and the seasons. I think about that sometimes, how different his childhood was from mine, and how different mine was from my children's. and how different theirs is from their children's. But some things stay the same, like the way light looks coming through barn slats, or the smell of cedar, or the feeling you get when you find a place that feels like home. There's a spider web in the corner over there. Been watching it since I sat down. The spider isn't home right now, or maybe it's hiding. But the web is catching the light just so, making it look like silver thread. Charlotte's Web was always my favourite book to read to the kids. Something about a spider who could write seemed magical. Though if spiders could write, I wonder what they'd say. Probably complaints about people walking through their webs. That's a joke. A small one. The thing about spider webs is they're stronger than you'd think. Stronger than steel. Pound for pound, they say. That's what I read once in National Geographic. This spider here making something stronger than steel, and it doesn't even know it. Just knows how to spin and wait and catch its dinner. There's a lesson in that, maybe, about doing what you know how to do and not worrying about the rest. Spiders don't worry, birds don't worry. They just are. Must be nice, not worrying. Though I suppose they have their own version of worry. Finding food, avoiding predators, staying warm in winter, different worries, but worries nonetheless. My grandmother used to say, worry is like a rocking chair. Gives you something to do but doesn't get you anywhere. She was full of sayings like that. Most of them didn't make much sense until you got older. And then suddenly they'd hit you and you'd think, oh, that's what she meant. She died 12 years ago, my grandmother, peacefully in her sleep, which is what everyone hopes for. She was 93 and sharp as a tack, right up until the end, could still name all her grandchildren and great-grandchildren, could still make her apple pie that won ribbons at the county fair, could still tell you which herbs to use for which ailment. She knew things, my grandmother, old things that people don't know anymore, like how to can vegetables and make soap and darn socks. Who darns socks anymore? Nobody. You get a hole in your sock, you buy new socks. But she'd sit in her chair with her darning egg and fix every hole. Said it was wasteful to throw away a perfectly good sock just because of one hole. She was right, of course, but time marches on. So marches on. Now you can buy a dozen pairs of socks for what one pair cost back then. Different world. Speaking of different, you see that old pulley system up there? That's how they used to get hay bales up into the loft. You hook the bale down below, pull the rope, and up it comes. Simple machines, they called them in school. Pulleys and levers and wedges and such. My grandfather could explain all of it, how the mechanical advantage worked. It made it seem like magic and science at the same time. I was never that good at explaining things. I just knew that when you pulled the rope, the hay came up. That was enough for me. My son, though, he wanted to know everything. Why does it work like that? What if we used a different rope? What's the ratio? Smart kid became an engineer. Makes sense, all those Christians. Designs bridges now, somewhere in California. We talk on the phone every couple of weeks. He's busy, has his own family, his own life. that's how it should be. But sometimes I miss those days when he'd follow me around asking questions. Grandpa, why is the sky blue? Grandpa, where do worms go in winter? Grandpa, how do you know when you're in love? That last one caught me off guard. He was about 16 then. I told him, you just know, you'll just know. Not my best answer, but it was the truth as I understood it. Some things you can't explain, you just feel them. Like how I felt about his grandmother. First time I saw her, I was 17 years old at a church social. She was wearing a yellow dress and laughing at something, her friend said. And I thought, I'm going to marry that girl. Didn't even know her name yet. Yeah, took me 3 weeks to work up the courage to talk to her. Another month before I asked her to the movies. We saw Roman Holiday with Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck. She cried at the end, and I pretended I didn't. But I did, just a little. Afterward we got ice cream and talked until the shop closed. Then we talked some more on her front porch, and her father turned the porch light on and off, which was his signal for me to leave. But I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay on that porch forever, listening to her talk about her dreams. She wanted to be a teacher, my wife. And she was for 35 years. 3rd grade. She loved those kids like they were her own. Would spend her own money on supplies and books. Would stay late helping the ones who struggled. Would send cards to her students years after they graduated. Some of them still write to me, telling me what Mrs. Patterson meant to them. How she made them feel smart when they thought they were dumb. And how she taught them to read when everyone else had given up. How she saw something in them that nobody else saw. That was her gift, seeing the good in people. Me included. I wasn't much when we met, just a farm boy with dirt under his fingernails. But she saw something worth keeping. We were married for 58 years. That's a long time, more than half a century. Long enough to see seasons change and children grow. Long enough to weather hard times and celebrate good ones. Long enough to know someone's thoughts before they speak them. That's the thing about a long marriage. You become like 2 trees growing together. Your roots get all tangled up underground until you can't tell which is which. I didn't mean to talk so much about her, but being up here in this barn, it brings back memories. We used to come up here sometimes, sneak away from the house, just to have a quiet moment together, see, away from the kids and the phone and the daily noise. We'd sit right here and watch the sunset through those slats. Wouldn't even talk sometimes. Just sit together. That's how you know it's real. When you can be quiet together and it's not awkward. When silence feels as good as conversation. The Henderson's barn cat just came up the ladder. Orange tabby. Must be about 3 years old now. Doesn't have a name that I know of, but I call him Chester. He's rubbing against my leg now, purring like a motorboat. Cats have the right idea about life, I think. Sleep when you're tired, eat when you're hungry, find a warm spot when you're cold. Don't overcomplicate things. Chester here lives in this barn and catches mice and sleeps in the hay. Probably never worries about retirement or taxes or whether he said the wrong thing. Just lives, day by day, moment by moment. I should be more like Chester. We all should, maybe. He's settling down now, curling up next to me. The purring is nice, rhythmic, soothing. They say that purring is healing, that the frequency helps bones mend. Don't know if that's true, but it sounds nice. Chester's falling asleep now, that quick way cats do. One moment awake, the next moment dreaming. What do cats dream about? Mice, probably, and birds, and maybe the same things they think about when they're awake. Or maybe something completely different, like cats flying or ruling kingdoms. Who knows what goes on in a cat's mind? The light's getting dimmer now. Sun must be almost down. There's that golden hour they talk about, when everything looks warm and soft. Photographers love it. Makes even ordinary things look beautiful. Not that this barn needs help looking beautiful. It's already beautiful in its own way. Worn and weathered, but standing strong. Like an old person, I suppose. Lines and wrinkles, but still here, still solid. My grandfather would be proud that his barn is still standing. Over 70 years now. And the roof doesn't leak and the floor doesn't sag. He built it right, built it to last. That's something they don't do much anymore, build things to last. Everything's disposable now. Use it and throw it away. Phones, computers, even cars. They're made to break, so you'll buy a new one. My grandfather's hammer is still in the toolbox downstairs. Handle's worn smooth from use, but the head is solid. That hammer's probably 80 years old and still works perfectly. Try finding a hammer today that'll last 80 years. Though I suppose in 80 years people might not need hammers. And robots will do all the building, maybe. Hard to imagine, but then again my grandfather probably couldn't imagine the internet, or cell phones, or microwaves, or any of the things we take for granted now. The world changes faster than you think. Well, blink and suddenly everything's different. But this barn stays the same. This moment stays the same. You and me and Chester the cat, watching the light fade, that's something worth holding on to, these quiet moments. They're getting rarer, seems like. Everyone's in such a hurry now, rushing from one thing to the next. No time to just sit in a barn loft and watch the light change. There's an evening breeze coming through now. Not cold, just cool enough to feel nice. It's making the cobwebs sway and the old hay rustle. Sounds like whispers almost, like the barn is talking to itself, remembering all the years it stood here, all the seasons it's seen, all the people who've passed through, farmers and children and animals and visitors like me, each one leaving a little something behind, a nail in the wall, carving in the wood, a memory in the air. This barn holds stories, hundreds of them, maybe thousands. If walls could talk, as they say, though maybe it's good that walls can't talk. Some stories are meant to be private, just between you and the barn. Like the time I came up here, after my first real job interview. I was 22 and sure I'd blown it. Came up here and just sat, feeling sorry for myself. And the barn didn't judge. This just held space for me while I figured things out. Got the job too, worked there for 30 years. At the time my daughter came up here after her first heartbreak, 15 years old and certain her life was over, I found her crying in the corner, said I'd leave her alone if she wanted. But she asked me to stay, so I did. Didn't say much. Just sat with her while she cried. Sometimes that's all you can do, just be present. She's fine now, happily married with 3 kids of her own. But I still remember that day, how small she looked in this big space. How young and hurt, and how I wished I could fix it for her. But you can't fix heartbreak. You can only wait it out. That's another thing about getting old. You learn that time really does heal. Not perfectly, not completely, but enough. Enough to keep going. Enough to try again. Enough to climb up into a barn loft years later and smile at the memory. Chester's snoring now. Didn't know cats snored, but this one does. Little snuffling sounds, like a tiny engine. It's peaceful, that sound. Adds to the quiet instead of breaking it. That's a rare thing. A sound that makes quiet deeper. Like rain on a roof, or wind in trees, or a cat snoring next to you in a barn loft while the sun sets. These are the things worth paying attention to. Not the news or the noise or the endless stream of information, but this moment, this exact right now. Because it won't come again, not exactly like this. Tomorrow the light will be different. Chester might not be here, or might be in a different mood. I might feel different, remember different things. Every moment is unique when you think about it. Even the ordinary ones, especially the ordinary ones. The extraordinary moments, those are easy to remember. Weddings and births and graduations and such. But it's the ordinary moments that make up a life. Tuesday afternoons and quiet mornings and evenings in a barn loft. Those are the moments that slip away if you don't hold on to them. So I'm holding on to this one right here, right now. And I hope you are too, wherever you are. Maybe you're in bed trying to fall asleep. Maybe you're on a train or a plane or in a waiting room. Maybe you're in your own special place, your own barn loft. Wherever you are, I hope you're feeling the moment. Not rushing past it to get to the next thing. Just being here now. That's the secret, I think. The secret to everything. Being here now, being present, being aware, not lost in the past or worried about the future. Just here, just now, just this. And the light's almost gone now. It's just a thin line of orange on the horizon through those slats. Soon it'll be dark and the stars will come out. The barn feels different in the dark, bigger somehow. The shadows get deeper and the sounds get louder. But it's not scary, it's peaceful in a deep way. Like the world is settling down to sleep and we're settling down with it. Chester's completely asleep now, dreaming his cat dreams. His paws are twitching, must be chasing something in his sleep. Well, I hope he catches it, whatever it is. I hope all his dreams are good dreams. That's what I wish for everyone, really. Good dreams. Dreams where you can fly or breathe underwater. Dreams where you see people you've lost and get to talk to them again. Dreams where problems solve themselves and everything makes sense. We spend about 1/3 of our lives sleeping, did you know that? If you live to be 90, that's 30 years of sleep. 30 years of dreams and rest and your body healing itself. That's a lot of time. important time. Maybe the most important time, in a way, because without sleep, nothing else works right. But your body needs it, your mind needs it, your soul needs it, probably. That's why I wanted to sit here with you tonight, to help you find that sleep, that rest, that peace, not by doing anything fancy or complicated, just by being here, talking quietly, watching the light fade. Sometimes that's all it takes, just someone being present with you, someone who's not in a hurry, someone who's okay with quiet, someone who knows that falling asleep is one of the best feelings there is. And it is, isn't it? That moment when you're drifting off, when your thoughts start to get fuzzy and your body gets heavy, when you're neither here nor there, just floating in between. That moment, right before sleep takes you under. That's the moment we're aiming for tonight. Not forcing it, not trying too hard, just letting it happen. Like Chester here, who didn't try to fall asleep. He just curled up and let sleep find him. That's what we'll do. Let sleep find us. Up here in this old barn loft where the air smells like cedar, where the cat snores softly and the floorboards creak, where my grandfather's work still stands strong after all these years, where memories live in the wood and the walls, where quiet is deep and peace is real. This is a good place to rest, a safe place. The Hendersons won't mind if we stay here a while. They know what this barn means. They understand. Some places are meant for living and working, and some places are meant for remembering and resting. And this barn is both, I suppose, but tonight it's for resting, for letting go of the day, for releasing all the small worries, for allowing sleep to come in its own time, its own way. So let's just sit here together, you and me and Chester, watching the last of the light disappear, feeling the peace of this old place settle over us like a blanket, breathing in the cedar smell and the hay smell and the smell of time passing, not sad about it, not worried about tomorrow. Just here, just now, just this moment before sleep, this moment that's perfect in its own quiet way. It's fully dark now. Stars are coming out through the slats. You see, up here, away from city lights, they shine bright, like diamonds scattered on black velvet. My grandfather taught me constellations. That big one there, that's the Big Dipper. Points to the North Star, he said. Never gets lost if you follow it. Sailors used it crossing oceans, farmers used it ploughing fields. Same stars, different purposes. That's life, I suppose. Speaking of farmers, I remember haying season here. Hot July days, sweat running down your back, men below tossing bales up to the loft, boys like me dragging them into place, arms aching by noon, but you'd keep going. Mother brought lemonade at lunch, cold from the well, sweet and tart, best drink you ever had. Then back to work till sunset. No complaining. That's how things were done back then. No machines to do it all, just hands and backs. Stronger in some ways, those old ways. And though my back reminds me I'm not young anymore, This cushion helps sitting on these floorboards. They're wide pine planks, tongue and groove, cupped a little from years of foot traffic. Feel the history under you every step. Just over there's the old hay chute. Slid bales down to the animals below. And simple wooden slide, worn smooth, horses and cows waiting for their supper. Sounds of munching and snuffling rising up. Barn full of life from floor to rafters. Now it's quiet, just Chester breathing, and us settling deeper into the night. Night brings its own sounds up here. Crickets starting their chorus outside, owl hooting somewhere in the trees, the leaves rustling in that breeze, all blending into a lullaby of sorts. Nature's way of saying, time to rest. And my grandmother loved nights like this. This, said, the dark wrapped around you like a quilt, safe and warm no matter the chill. And she'd sit on the porch swing, rocking slow, counting stars till her eyes grew heavy. I'd find her there, asleep sometimes. Head nodding, quilt over her knees, gentle snoring, peaceful as a child. That's how I want to go someday. Not fighting it, just slipping away quiet. There's a loose board here by my foot. And be creaks when I shift. Been creaking 50 years. Probably creaked under my grandfather too. Connecting us through time. That creak. Small things like that mean something. The reminders that nothing's really gone. And just changed form, you see. Like this barn, not a working farm anymore. But still standing, still holding memories. Hendersons use it for storage. Now, old tractors, lawn mowers, holiday boxes. Practical, but misses the barn's true purpose. Barns were alive once, full of rhythm. Morning milking, noon haying, evening feeding. Cycles like the moon. And seasons. Predictable, comforting in their way. My son tried farming for a bit. After college, thought he'd come back to it. Lasted 2 years. Too hard, he said. Prices low, work endless, weather cruel. Went into engineering instead. Smart choice. Though part of me wishes he'd stayed, seen this place alive again. Grandkids come sometimes, the older ones. Climb up here, wide-eyed at the space. Ask about the pulley ropes, the hay hooks. I tell them stories, same as my grandfather told me, about storms that shook the rafters, barns raising where neighbours helped neighbours, for dances in the lower level after harvest, fiddles and laughter till midnight, food everywhere, potluck style, potato salad, fried chicken, pies galore. Those were good times, simple times. No invitations needed, just show up. Community held together by hard work and celebrations when the work was done. You don't see that much anymore. Everyone in their own houses, own schedules, text messages instead of front porch talks. Not bad, just different, faster somehow. Up here, time moves slow. That's the gift. No clock ticking loud. No hurry. Just stars wheeling overhead, slow. Chester stretches, yawns wide. And those pink gums, tiny teeth, looks comical, rolls over, belly up. Trusts me completely. Cats know who means no harm. Wish people were that trusting. Life would be easier, I think. Less suspicion, more connection. My wife was like that. Open heart. Made friends everywhere she went. Grocery store, church, even the bank. Tinkler knew her by name, her favourite pie. Small town life where everyone matters. City life's different. Faces blur together. No time for hellos or how do you do's. Rushing past each other, eyes down. Miss that connection sometimes. Well, I visit the kids in the city now. Tall buildings, bright lights, noise everywhere. They seem happy. That's what counts. Grandkids call me on video phones. See their faces light up. Close enough. Technology bridges the miles, you see. A bat just flew by the open end, swooping for insects. Silent wings. Eats his weight in bugs every night. Nature's pest control, free of charge. Grandkids would squeal at the sight. Grandpa, bat, flying mouse. I'd laugh. Tell them bats are helpful. Part of the barn's ecosystem. And spiders, bats, owls, all working together. Balance without anyone directing it. Smart, that nature knows what it's doing. We could learn from it, maybe. Less fighting, more cooperating. Speaking of owls, there's one calling again. Who cooks for you? That's what it sounds like. Heard that call since I was knee-high. Comforting, like an old friend checking in. Brings back boyhood nights in this very loft. Couldn't sleep, would climb up here, alone. Watch the stars, listen to the owl. I feel like the king of my own castle. No fears up here, just wonder. World seemed bigger then, full of mystery. Every shadow held adventure. Now shadows hold memories mostly, both good in their seasons. This loose board creaks again. Reminds me of a game we played. The boys jumping to make the loudest creak, judged by echoes down to the ground floor. Winner got first pick of apple from the tree. Silly now, but pure joy then. Simple pleasures, no screens needed. Just friends and a creaky barn floor. Chester's eye opens, looks at me, goes back to sleep. Unconcerned, must dream pleasant dreams. Paws twitch less now. Peaceful slumber. That's the goal tonight? Peaceful slumber. Let worries slip away like morning mist. No clinging. Just release. Breathe in cedar, breathe out tension. In with quiet, out with chatter. Simple as that, works every time. Moon's rising now. Silver light through slats. Makes patterns on the floor. Moving slow, like a spotlight show nature's production. No tickets needed, just show up. My grandmother called it God's artwork, painted fresh every night. I mean, free for anyone who looks up. City folk miss this, I think. And too much light pollution, stars hidden, sad in a way. Oh, to lose that sense of vastness. Up here, you feel your place in it all. Small but connected, part of something bigger. There's that hope chest again, corner of my eye, cedar gleaming. Wonder what's inside now. More memories? Letters yellowed, quilts moth-eaten, baby shoes, faded photos, ticket stubs, life's artifacts, proof we were here. Don't need to open it. Know the contents by heart. Each item a doorway to yesterday, better left closed sometimes. Let sleeping stories lie. Pulley system overhead sways gentle. Breeze moving it like a pendulum. Marks time in its own way. Slow swings, hypnotic almost. Count them if you want. 1, 2, 3. But no need. Just watch. Feel your eyelids grow heavier. That's the barn working its magic. Generations of rest in these walls. Absorb it through your skin, through your breathing, through your bones. Safe here, nothing to fear. Just an old man, a cat, and stars. And you, wherever you are, drifting closer to sleep with each word. Moonlight brightens, full almost. Casts long shadows across the hay dust. Dust motes still dance, even in dark. Moonlight's enough to keep them moving. Eternal, that dance never stops. Like life, always something stirring, even in quiet moments. Chester purrs again, low rumble, vibrates through the floorboards. Healing frequency, they say. Bones mending, muscles relaxing. Believe it or not, feels true tonight. My back feels looser already. Already, old aches fading into background. Barn's healing too in its way. Holding us both in gentle care. Wood expanding with evening damp. Soft pops and groans. Alive still, not dead wood. Living archive. Stories in every grain and knot. Touch it. Feel the pulse. Generations' hands shape these beams. Smooth these floors, climb these ladders. You're touching history right now. Connect to all who came before. Strong line, unbroken. That's comfort, real comfort. And no matter what tomorrow brings, this continuity remains. Cricket chorus swells outside. Harmony of chirps, rising, falling. Nature's symphony. Free concert. Front row seats from this loft. No intermission. Plays all night. Perfect backdrop for drifting off. Owl joins in occasionally. Duet across the fields. Field sleeping now. A corn stubble silver. Waiting for spring planting. Cycles turning, always turning. Reassuring that rhythm. No need to force anything. Just follow the turn. Moon climbs higher, light shifts. Patterns change on the walls. Chasing shadows across cedar chest. Playing tag with the night. Childlike wonder in it all. Keeps the heart young, somehow. Even these old bones feel light. Floating almost on memory's current. Chester flips again, belly to sky. Moonlight on his fur, glowing soft. Picture perfect. Wish I had a camera. But no, better in the mind. Photos fade, memories glow brighter, with time, not less. Let's polish them like old silver, shine through the years. There's that bat again, circling, moth chase silent pursuit. Dinner time for him, tireless hunter. Look at me, night shift worker. Appreciated rarely. That vital, keeps balance. Like all of us in our ways. And our ways, quiet contributors. Breeze picks up a touch. Cool fingers through the slats. Perfect sleeping temperature. Not too warm, not too chill. Goldilocks night, just right. Body knows, starts to settle. And muscles loosening one by one. Thoughts slowing, circling, gentle. Ready for dreamland's door. Swing it open, slow. Step through without hurry. I'll meet you there in a bit. Check the stove first, old habit. But up here, no stove, just peace. Stay as long as you need. And a barn welcomes all weary souls. Chester's purr fades to nothing. Deep sleep now. Model citizen, follow his lead. Let go completely. Moon at peak, full glory. Lights the loft like daylight soft. Everything silvered, peaceful. World hushed, expectant almost. Waiting for sleep to claim us. One more breath, deep one. In with night air, out with day. Release it all, trust the dark. Its friend, not foe, cradle soft. Drift now, drift easy. Barn watching over, steady. Stars winking approval. Good night, child. Sweet dreams. Deep into the night now. Moon crossed the sky halfway. Shadows stretch long across beams. You see this gambrel roof, curves gentle. Double slope holds more hay than gable. My grandfather chose it wise. Exposed rafters overhead. I hand-hewn oak, pegged tight. Tool marks still show from axe. So feel the weight of history up there. And couplers up top, though dark now. Ventilated hay, kept it dry. No rot in winter's damp breath. Sliding door tracks rusty below. Used to glide for wagon loads. Hay hooks hung on rails once. Dangerous work, but they managed. Iron hinges creak in wind gusts. Antique hardware Forged local smithy's hammer marks remain. Shiplap walls breathe with night. Dapsler's air flow free. Well, no stifling heat trapped inside. Bank barn style, dug into hill. Lower level for stock. Cool shade. Loft up high for storage space. Multi-level genius, space saved. Weather vane spins slow outside. Points the wind's lazy direction. Lightning rods guard from storms. And save this barn more than once. Gothic arch, hints in framing. Bent rafters curve just so. No crosspiece blocking, loft flow. Open space feels bigger still. Log crib corners notched square. Early style before frame took over. Chestnut logs, rare now, gone with blights like old friends. Monitor roof raise in mind. Windows, let light pour center. This one's simpler garble. Regional touch, Midwest plain. No frills, just solid work. Pent roof over doors below. Shelters from rain's sudden pour. There's a stock door corner, animals in. Horizontal boards clapped tight. Dutch barn echo in design. I'm always at 3 Martin holes, plugged now. Birds nested, kept bugs down. 4-bay overhang protects. Cantilevered beams hold strong. Threshing floor marks, worn smooth. Wheat separated here once. Salt box slope on mine's barn. Shed attached low for tools. Hip roof gentle on small cribs. Arched roof modern came late. Laminated trusses. Strong wide. This barn predates that change. Vintage wood silvered by time. Weathered patina. Beautiful grey. No paint peels, just ages graceful. And dust settles on hope just lid. Moonlight gills the cedar edge. Quilts inside wait patient. Baby clothes, folded neat. Letters tied with faded ribbon. Ticket stubs from county fair. Life's small treasures gathered. Early squeaks faint now. Ghost of hay bales lifting. Rope frayed hangs like memory. Track runs ceiling lengthful. Trolley carried loads easy. Boys rode it once, daring. Fell once too, scraped knees. Lessons learned the hard way. Hayloft door swung wide, then wagons back precise below. Pitchforks flew in rhythm fast, and sweat and dust mixed thick air. Supper smells rose at dusk, and mother's call ended the day. Silence rules. Soft blanket. Crickets fade, cooler air. Dew forms on metal tracks. Rust weeps slow tears nightly. Iron accents glow moonlight. Latches heavy, hand-forged grip. Ladder rungs worn foot hollows. Climb marks, generations deep. Touch them. Feel the past climb. strong hands gripped. Just here. Yours now, link unbroken, beams grown soft with settle. Wood alive, expands contracts. Humanity's daily dance. No rush, time moves patient. And Chester dreams on, paws still, chases shadows in sleepland. Whiskers twitch at phantom prey. Cat life, simple, envy that. Who Hall calls distant now. Hunt done, nest time near. Stars wheel slow overhead map. Big Dipper tips slow pour. North Star steady, sailor's guide. Farmer's clock too, rise by it. Moon wanes, the thin crescent edge. Silver hook in velvet black. And breeze whispers through shiplap. Cool kiss on old skin cheeks. Eyelids heavy, body's cue. Muscles melt into cushion. And thoughts drift like milkweed seed. No anchor, just float free. Barn holds you, gentle now. Walls cradle, beams shelter. Generations' arms around. Safe harbour from life's storms. Loose shingle taps roof. Wind's playful finger drum. Rhythm lulls, heartbeat match. Then out. Slow, slower still. Moon patterns shift wall dance. What little books are chasing dust motes, silver trail. Eternal waltz, night ballet. And no audience but us quiet. Wood expands with damp rise. And soft pops like distant fire. Friendly sounds, home murmurs. No fear in these old roads. Just living, building, breathing. Hope chest gleams corner soft. Cedar guards secrets. Well, don't open, let them sleep. Memories best half remembered. Pully sways breeze, pendulum. Counts breaths to dreamland gate. Tough. 1, 2. Slow hypnotize. Eyes closed natural now. Chester's warmth radiates near. Purr memory lingers faint. Follow him to sleep steep. And no effort, just surrender. Stars wink, final good night. Moon dips horizon slow. Dark reps fall, quilt thick. Peace descends, heavy sweet. Drift now, child. Let go all. Barn watches faithful guard. Sweet dreams in hay-sent arms. Now, as you settle in deeper here, the barn almost feels like it's breathing with you. The silence is thick but not empty. It's full of quiet stories. You see, these old beams, they've witnessed seasons change more times than I've had birthdays. Like that giant timber overhead. Strong, broad, holding the whole roof up. I bet it was cut down during the winter when the sap runs low. Makes the wood less likely to split and stronger to last decades. Farmers knew all these little tricks, passed down like family recipes. There's a draught coming through a knot hole in the wall, cool and fresh. It carries the scent of fresh-cut hay and morning dew. One of my favourite smells brings me back to summer mornings when the rooster crows. Up here, the loft is a sanctuary, separated from the bustle below. No ticking clocks, no chiming phones, just the gentle creak of wood settling. That creak, you'll hear it if you listen close, like the barn whispering secrets. It might remind you of an old friend's voice, steady and warm. Grandfather said barns were built not just for function, but with care. They were community projects, neighbours helping neighbours. Every nail hammered with purpose, every board hand cut and placed just so. The hayloft's openness lets the breeze come through, cooling off the farm's heart. Sunlight streamed through gaps during the day, making golden light spots on the floor. Kids would chase dust motes or try to catch that light with cupped hands. Laughter echoes in this space still, if you listen with your heart. I brought a blanket to sit on because these wooden boards are cold and stiff. You see, sitting still is harder as the years add up. But here, wrapped in memories, it feels like time slows down for a while. Up in this quiet, you can think about the simple things we often overlook, like the way the moonlight paints the floor with silver stripes, or how a cat's soft purring can fill the darkness with calm. Chester the barn cat is curled up beside me, a little ball of fur and trust. Cats know when to be still and when to stir. I wish we humans were better at that, knowing when to be peaceful. In this loft, the world shrinks. No traffic, no phones buzzing. Just you, me, and these old wooden ribs holding us close. Bedtime stories usually come with lots of voices and characters. Tonight it's just one voice, my own rambling softly for sleep. Sometimes less is more, when the mind is tired. So let's slow down and breathe. The smell of cedar fills the air, mingling with the faint scent of molasses barrels stored below. If you close your eyes, you might almost hear the old farm hands humming while stocking hay. Their voices lost but remembered by these walls. Barns keep more than grain, they keep memories. Even in the pitch black, the loft feels alive with history. You feel safe here. That's the magic of places like this. Every scar in the wood has a story, a missed nail or a stubborn board. Those little imperfections make it perfect. My grandmother always said, perfect is boring. It's the cracks and scratches that hold the soul. I made a promise to keep coming back here, to visit the barn's old spirit. Even if no one else cares for it, I care enough for both of us. Up here it's easier to remember the good days. The scent of old leather boots, the sound of horses munching, the warmth of noon sun through open doors. These simple memories comfort me. They remind me that life's made up of ordinary moments turned precious. Sometimes all you need is a place to rest your head and heart. And tonight this barn loft is that place. Slowly your eyes feel heavier. I see that. No need to fight it. Let your mind wander like the breeze. No deadlines, no to-dos. Just peace. When sleep finally comes, it will be kind, gentle and patient, like a friend. Like this barn full of quiet promise. Good night, dear friend. May dreams find you quickly and be sweet.